Hi, in this video I am going to give a walkthrough of the code base of ML server. Now this ML server is the main component of Airflow which trains the models and which does the inference on the trained models of the position data. So now I will give overall overview of each like each works interact with each other, how the workflow, basically the workflow of the ML server, how does it works. So in the top level, these are the files which these are the folders and files which are in the ML server directory. So at the top you can see the data folder. Now the data folder consists of just the normal data. So these are the position control boards position data. So when I was testing the models for training, when the database was not available, I have used this file. So I created this data directory. So the next folder is ML artifacts. This was not created by me. It was automatically generated when we use the ML flow library. The same goes with the ML runs as well. This is also automatically generated by the ML flow library for storing and for showing the models and its related parameters. And the next source is the main where the main code base lies of the ML server. I will go through it in a moment. If we come down here, here we can see hypertune.py. So as a part of feature extension, this is the one major task remaining. Like since the models goes on training, one thing can be done is like we can write a pipeline for automatically hypertuning the models which are of the existing models. So this is the test for doing hyperparameter tuning using ML4. And here there is readme file and there is a requirement to txt file. And as I said, the table server is Docker, so here is the Docker compose file of it. Now, these are just the UI documentation of the fast API, so which I will show in a moment. So this is the main source folder. So if we come down, these are the three main files here, like dynamic model trainer. So this dynamic model trainer is basically a cron job, which fetches our database continuously to and to know like whether any new data points are available for training a model. So if there are any data points available, it makes a function call to this function check train. So these are basically some checks done to know whether we can enough data points to train the model or not. So if the function returns true, then the model gets trained. Else, the model doesn't get trained. So this is how this works. So now, as of now, it runs for every 10 seconds. But this is for the demo purpose. I have made for 10 purpose. But usually, we can keep it as like for every 30 minutes or 50 minutes. We can vary based on the intervals at which the data is updated in the database. And the next is the main.py file. So this is the main file of our fast API server, which basically contains only two routes, two major routes. One is the inference route, and the next is the forecast route. So when we hit the request of forecast and inference, this is the first page where it lands. So I will give walkthrough of how this routes work details. But before that, I would like to tell the significance of each of these folders. So first folder is AI models. AI models contains the every model which we are uh, used for the training or inference. So basically, every model resides here. So there will be file corresponding to each model. So as you can see here, this is the profit model, and this is the LSTM model, and this is the hybrid LSTM model. So each file here contains a similar structure. Uh, it's written in object-oriented way. So each has the same functions, function structure. Major functions are same. So if someone wants to create or add a new model, the similar structure needs to be used. There are some functions which are naming convention, or the function should be definitely used for to work the model without breaking the pipeline. So this is just the initialization thing. So these inputs are same for every model. So and the next function is like parser config. This basically parse the configuration of the particular model. So this configuration I will go through it in a moment. And the next function which is important is like training the model. So this is the function where the model gets trained. This and these run profit and then perform profit. These are the extra functions I have included with which only works for this model. This is not case for this will not be present in the other model. So the train is the main function which should be present in every file which you want to create. And the next function needs to be present is a train and save full model. So this function trains the model on entire dataset and saves it into the ML flow. And the next thing is get training prediction. This is also the main. This is also one of the functions that should be present. This basically is the predictions for the training thing. And the next is the inference, which does the inference. And next is the save data, which uploads the data prediction data to the database. So these functions are the major functions which are need to be present in when we create the new model. So this is about AI models, and here there is model factory. So when a new model class is created, one should enter that model here, so that when forecasting client calls the model factory, it shows the model from here. Like say if it asks for a model profit, then model profit gets written from here. So basically, model factory takes a input the model name and it returns the model class. So this is about AI models. And the next is config. So config, this is basically like each data source contains its own model set. So it may contain own profit model, it may contain own like LSTM model, hybrid LSTM model. So these are the parameters of the model. Basically these are the configurations. If these are automatically created when if a new data source is added using the default configuration. So when there is a new data source gets trained for the new model, so automatically data is configuration is taken from here and it gets trained automatically. And so we can also change these parameters when and where we require to test the models and train the new models. This is about configuration of the models. And the next is data factory. So as we know, like each model has its own data pre-processing steps. So here for every one of the file is or every one of the file is corresponds to one of the model in the AI models. So like each model has its own pre-processing step. So each file, a data pre-processing file will be present in the data factory. So here we can see the profit data factory class. So this basically as the same if same as the AI models. If one wants to add the new data factory, these similar functions need to be followed. So one of that is the preparing the data. So it basically loads the data from the database and refactors it, like drops and values of the data into training and testing, and those things are done here. This is the specific functions related to the profit. So there is only like one function that prepared data needs to be there for every model, and rest of functions can be written as per the requirements. And same we have the as model factory we have the data factory, which returns the data factory model class. And then we have data loader. This is basically the helper functions for loading the data from the MongoDB. So this just like uh, common database queries which are used. So this class contains every common things like getting all the data points of a data source and get the list of the data source and to update the model logs, to update the existing model logs. So these are the basic functions of in MongoDB. So as I told earlier, like data processor in prepare data function, it loads the data from the database, right? So it uses this MongoDB to load the database. Like it calls this function to get the data points for the specific model. So this is about data loader and database config. So here we can see the database config like uh, Mon- uh, you- uh, MongoDB URL for connecting to the database, and these are the collection names. And here this is the basic file which is created for prediction data collection. So this is about db config, and the main thing files is here. So these are used everywhere, like these collection names are used everywhere as per requirements. And exception folder contains like some basic exceptions, and when the error occurs we will return this exception things. That's about exception folder. And again this ml runs folder is created by mlflow automatically for storing the nodes, as I said. So and the save plots contains the plots which are like training plots or testing plots which are saved by the model. And schemas, since we are using MongoDB, there is no